He's out of the room, Lynn.
All right, everybody. Welcome. It is February 18th of 2020 and or 2022, excuse me. Yeah, I'm regressing. Okay. It's February 18th of 2022 and you're here on Friday Night Live with Lynn Nakamoto, my co-host. Go ahead, Lynn.
Welcome everybody to Friday Night Live. We are glad that you're here and we are excited because we have a good lineup of speakers who are going to elucidate you about topics that are of interest to everyone here in attendance. So let me begin with describing what's going to be happening today. I think we need to mute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to force mute and then unmute. Okay, let me do that. All right. So again, we would like to welcome you to Friday Night Live. And I would like to tell you what we're going to be covering tonight. We're going to be covering the topic of how to choose the perfect domain name. And we're also going to be talking about OChat and OTracker. So these are products of Onpassive. We have some speakers here today that are in the field of IT. We have engineer Mike Ojangtambia, who is in Canada. We have Bob Takusi, who is in the United States, and Oliver Fonte, also in the United States. And these three gentlemen are IT professionals with many, many years of experience. And they are also founders of Onpassive. So they will be able to explain these concepts and these products to us in a way that the layperson can understand, and then tie them in with how it relates to Onpassive and to us. So it's going to be very practical, and we hope that you will all benefit from this discussion. So at this time, I would like to bring up engineer Mike Ojangtambia, who's going to talk about domain names.
Excuse me. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you, Ms. Lynn and Ron, for bringing us here today again to have yet another exciting topic. So many topics. I will start with my own, who should be the domain name server or domain name. Thank you, all the Leadership Council members present, for all your work you do for us. Now, we're talking about the domain name. So domain name comes from what is called DNS. Okay, the DNS means domain name server or domain name system. And what is the domain name system and all of that? The reason we want to have a chat about it is because it is very important. Because we, as founders of Onpassive, will be having our own domain name. So it's exciting for us to know about the domain name and what it represents, okay? So we can say the domain name system, or the DNS, it is the phone book of the internet, okay? Just take it, it's like a phone book of the internet, DNS, okay? So when web browsers, okay, interact through internet protocol, which is the IP. Remember, we talked some days ago, we mentioned something called IP addresses, okay? So the IP address, the web browser, what happens is that the DNS, okay, it does two things. The DNS translates the IP addresses, okay, into human readable IP addresses to human readable host names, okay? That's the first part of it. Then it has another second part of it. It uses those host names and translate them to IP addresses. So what happens is that the DNS system or the computer, recognize numbers. It doesn't want you to be cramming or memorizing a lot of numbers. So when you go to the DNS system, when you give it an IP address, it is called the forward zone, okay? So the forward zone, it will translate the IP address to host name. Then the reverse zone, it will translate host name to IP addresses. That is for easy readable for you to get into that website. And that is what is happening. So we have two kind of IP addresses when we're talking about IP address. An IP address is the unique identifier, okay, of your device over the network, whatever network that you have. Let me say your network is TELUS. In Canada, most of us have TELUS. In the US, you can have anyone that you have, okay? Now, that IP address is a unique identifier of your devices over the internet. What are those devices? Your laptop, your iPhone, your iPad, your even your TVs. So all of them have a unique IP address that identifies them on that network. Let's take, for instance, okay, you have 10 different gadgets in your house. All of them, we have 10 different IP addresses. And we can use the analogy like, okay, let's say you're living in, Uncle Bob lives in Bel Air, in the United States, in Maryland, in MD, Bel Air. So let's say his house number is house number 100 in where he lives, which is Bel Air. You will not go to that street and see two house number 100s. No, it will be one house number 100. So that is how those gadgets that you have are identified through their IP addresses online. Now, we have two kinds of IP addresses, okay? We have IPv4 and IPv6. So how are they distributed? So the networking engineers, they have a way of doing their distribution. So for a population which is above 1 billion, okay, any population that is above 1 billion, okay, they use IPv6, okay, and any population that is below 1 billion, they use IPv4. So the IPv means Internet Protocol version 4 and Internet Protocol version 6. Now, which are those populations we're talking about? For the one for IPv4 is used with populations which are below 1 billion. So in the continent of Africa, the continent of Europe, the continent of Australia, the continent of Middle East, and the continent of North and South America. All of those continents, they use IPv4, Internet Protocol version 4, because they are below 1 billion. So countries or populations that have more than 1 billion are the Asian populations. Asian countries, they have almost all of them are above 1 billion. So they are the people who use IPv6. IPv6 is a mixture of alphabets and numbers, so alphanumeric, okay? Now, why are we even trying to learn this? It is very important for us. Why is it important? It's important for us because that is where we want to talk about our domain names. So the DNS is very important because it is tied to their domain names. Now, what is a domain name? We hear domain name, domain name, domain name, okay? So it is a unique name, easy to remember, okay? That is just a path to your website. So it is the name of your website, domain name. Okay, for instance, onpassive.com, google.com, okay? So how does it function? Users can connect to the website through your domain name. For instance, we take our case of Onpassive. If you go now to your browser and you type www.onpassive.com, it takes you straight to Onpassive website. Or if you go and you type in just onpassive.com, it will still go to their website directly. So that is what the domain name is. So domain name is a name to your website. Okay, now, why is it important? Domain name is very important because it is the first impression that you give to your, how do you call it, your fans, your followers, people, your customers. So it means that you should have something that is captivative as a domain name. Remember, we have domain names, our system, which is built with AI. We will go to OTracker to create website for us. By default, the company will produce some for us. Okay. Now, it is either for you to reject that one or you take it. But to me, I'll definitely take it because the company knows that the ones that he will propose to you will be the ones that have not been used. Maybe you want to go and use some that it has already been used. So you have to be branding your own things by yourself. Now, I just want to give us some tips, some little tips to how to get a domain name. The first tip is that you should want to have a brandable over generic. When we say generic and brandable, what is that? So when we say generic, we say brandable is always better than generic. Okay, the brandable name is better than a generic name because a brandable name is unique. Okay, a generic one is one that is, is everywhere, all over the places. So how can we say, for instance, onpassive.com, okay, or onpassive.ai? These are names that have not been out there for a very long time. So if you want to get something, a domain name that is very striking, that people will take that to recognize your brand. Now, so you can also have the second tip is that you can find your own brandable domain names. How do you do that? So you can create your own words by yourself. For instance, if you want to open, let me say, in the All Winners group, we have Willie Digital that everybody knows. So he can have his own business and he uses that name, Willie Digital, or he just use digital.ai. Something striking, digital.ai. That will be his own domain name if he wants to use the domain name. Now, remember, Onpassive is branding us. So these are the things. The reason we are having this discussion today is that we should think of those names that we will use when we have our business, because the company is branding everybody who is a founder. And you and I sitting here today, we are founders. So you can also use existing words to brand your own, but make sure that these words have not been used by other people before. Otherwise, they can sue you up, right? So as I'll go down with this explanation, I will tell you there are some small tricks and some websites on how to check to see if that one has been used or not, okay? Now, also, we have the domain name generator. How does that function? Is that if you cannot even do it by yourself and you cannot even remember anything, just use the generators. They will generate domain names for you, then which are brandable. You can use them if people have not used them before. There are some engines that will use some websites. I will go through that as we are going, and I will let you know. Now, again, we can say short is better than the long one. Why? Please, if you want to brand yourself, you should choose a shorter brand name or shorter domain name. Okay, let me say, for instance, our domain name is, for Onpassive, our website is onpassive.com. So just imagine that if we had a website that would be like Onpassive product creation, Onpassive product creation group.com. Onpassive product creation group.com. Just one word. That can be a problem because it's very long to retain, right? But we had this very smart CEO that just decided onpassive.com. Just see, that is what we're doing, right? Because sometimes you want to brand your company with what you let it reflect your line of business. So if we were to use Onpassive product creation company.com, that is too long. Now, the easy tip, another next tip is that make sure that it is easy to type. How can we test this? Go for a test. Take like 6 people and you put those 6 people together. Then you ask them to spell your website, onpassiveproductcreation.com. If a couple of them struggle to write down their Onpassive product creation group.com, if they struggle to write it, then make sure that you need to revisit it. You need to try how to change it, okay? Because it is a problem. Websites for people who are making business, who are into business, it's not supposed to be that long. It is not supposed to be very hard to retain, okay? Another one, make sure too that it should be easy to pronounce. Take the same thing, go to 6 people, write down the domain name, onpassiveproductcreationgroup.com. Ask them to pronounce. If some of them struggle to pronounce, know that more and more people out there will be struggling to pronounce it. So please make it, and so that it should be easily pronounced, easily to be written as well. Now, avoid hyphens and numbers. Let's say our present Onpassive website was Onpassive on/passive. That's, you have an on, O-N, then you have dash, then you have passive, because those are 2 words, right? On, then passive. So if you have a hyphen there, just imagine if I wanted to explain it to Auntie Lynn Nakamoto. I say, oh, Auntie Lynn, have you seen that company? She'll ask me what company. That company that have on passive. Anyways, there is a hyphen in the middle. So that's how I want to explain it to her. It will be a problem because, I mean, just that hyphen alone is a problem. So just straight up Onpassive. We had a genius of a CEO to just bring it out and say Onpassive, one word. Instead of for me to explain it to Auntie Rin, say on, then there is a hyphen, then passive, then .com. So if that was the case, then more of us wouldn't have even known about Onpassive, because it would be very difficult to be explaining those hyphens and things like that. So just keep it short, okay? Keep it very short. Avoid the hyphens. Let's deal with letters. Forget numbers as well. Don't add numbers there. Let's just deal with alphabets, okay? It's much more better that way. Now, the next one we want to talk about, so you should consider your keyword to reflect your website. Okay, so let's say you have to choose it very carefully so that it can reflect your website or what you are doing. What do I mean by that? It means, for instance, if I go out there, I have like a movie production industry or a movie production company. I call it, let me say, movie production. So those keywords, movie production, somebody will know that these people are into movie production. So I say movie production. I want to get my own stuff by with ended my domain name with Onpassive domain name. So movieproduction.ai. I get that domain name, movieproduction.ai. So I have a movie production company. So always use words that will reflect your line of business. That's what we're trying to say here, everybody. Now, the next one we want to talk about is that you should consider using a domain name for a long term rather than a short term. Why? If you want to use it just for a short term, right? You have problems in the future when you want to change them. Sometimes you have to pay for it more, right? But in our case, it's not our case in Onpassive. So, but everything what you want to do from the beginning, think about how you expand in your business. Remember, our CEO always tells us that we should think big, upgrade your dreams. So if you say, for instance, today you start a line of product, let's say you are a tailor, then you sew clothes and you display it for us to have it, right? Then tomorrow you decide, oh, I want to go into digital market. If your domain name did not reflect what you have to get into today, for instance, let's just say instead, if I say, okay, I just say digital service, let me just say Linux links digital services. So Linux links digital services.ai. It means I have incorporated my digital services that I think that I will expand into in the future. Then better start with Linux links, which is something that I will be doing. You understand? So it should be something that in the long term, you will not be changing it for 10, 20. So you should have those names that you think that even if you are expanding your business, it should tie the same with your domain name and what you're doing. So another way you need to do is to check if that domain names are already used, okay? If they are already used, you cannot use them, okay? So you should avoid legal issues. We have a way to check them. You can use GoDaddy and nowem.com is another website, and GoDaddy. You can go and check if they have those domain names there that they're already using or they are not using. So also, if you are stuck by giving it your own domain name, you don't want to think no more. You don't want to disturb yourself that much. You just use the domain name generator. We have about 3 of them. The first one is Worlddoid. We have another one called Lynn Domain Search, and we have the other one called Domain Hole. Okay, if people want that, we are getting into the time. If you will need that, you have leaders here. You can contact any of the leaders. They can check on me, then I can share with you people the website so that you can, check on them and see what is happening. But I'm not sure in Onpassive we are one family. There is nothing that can be more than us because we have all the all the expatriates here. We can sit down and we make things happen. Okay, that is all for me, Lynn. I see Ron's hand up. Ron, you're muted if you're talking to me.
Yippee. I'm talking to you. Into your mic. Let me ask you something. I tell people and new founders and things that don't go out and pay a lot of money for a domain, because with your foundership, you are going to get a domain, right? That's included in the benefits of being a founder. So yes, instead of going out to GoDaddy or wherever else, spending $10 or $25 or $100 or $1,000, wait till we get our web going with Onpassive, and you can check in there to see if that domain name is available. like you said, there's only 3 that you can get domain names from. And I believe Onpassive AI is connected to that so they can see if it's done or not, or if it's used or not. So I got in a hurry. And I went out and got a domain name about a year ago. So luckily, if you do have a domain name, you can transfer that domain name to use in Onpassive. All you got to do is go in there and click transfer, and you'll be set. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
You can
that's what I thought.
any business that you have, you can incorporate it to Onpassive. But our CEO wants that business to be very legit.
Right.
So if the business is very legit, you don't have no problem. Wherever they are hosting your domain name, you can bring it to Onpassive when we launch, and your business will be safe, provided it is legal.
Yeah. So save your money, wait till we launch, and see if we, let Onpassive do their thing and help us build our business with the domain names that they're gonna, and they're gonna host it too.
Yes, we're doing everything. The hosting,
and change everything every day.
Yes, sir.
So if you did that anywhere else, it costs you what, a couple $1,000s a month, correct?
Yes, sir.
So founders need to realize the benefits they have by becoming a founder. And that's one big benefit, because you can save thousands of dollars just on that one item. So I appreciate it. You explained a lot to me that I didn't realize. I appreciate that.
We are together, sir. We're here to help you.
Then are we going to take, what questions?
Yeah, we'll take questions. We have Roger Wanji. So we were going to bring him to, let's see how I do that. Hi, Roger, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, Lynn.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm at work. That's why I cannot see your face. Thank you,
That's
Engineer
fine.
Mark. I greatly appreciate your presentation. Thank you so much. I just have some issue about the orthograph, how to write all these things. I know to write, most people know how to write GoDaddy, but the rest, I don't know the orthograph. You can just help me out, Engineer Mark, please.
Say autograph, what do you mean, sir? To me, you want me to spell those websites I was talking about?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Not to spell, maybe put it on
the chat. I don't think Antolin wants that to be here. Maybe,
okay.
Like I said, we have leaders here. You can contact any day. You are an O winner, so you will have it in O winner. We don't want to put something. I think, yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Roger. Appreciate it. Okay, next we have William Delorme. You can unmute yourself, William.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm curious. It's exciting to learn all these things about Onpassive and their products. So with GoDaddy, when you go and buy a domain, there is .com, .net, .org, and usually .net, .org are cheaper in cost. When we get a domain for our site in Onpassive, will it be .com, .net, .org? I'm curious.
Okay, so if you look at it from where we are coming, Onpassive is very special. All our things are very special. If you remember if you want to get like by default, when we started using OMail, it was creating us email addresses. You see it will end with a domain omail.ai. So definitely, if I look at the way our system is structured, the way Onpassive is structured, our domain name will be ending with .ai. If I'm not Mari Digamo can correct me if that can be anything, if it's available. But I think, or Mike Ellis, or I think it should be .ai, sir.
Yeah,
Anybody want to contribute to
I can
that?
respond. I can respond to that real quick, Lynn. Can you all hear me? I don't know if I'm coming through or not.
Yes, you're
We
pretty
hear
loud
you very
and,
well, sir.
Yeah.
loud and clear.
If you're going to brand yourself, I would go with .com. That's what people are familiar with. That's what people want. And if you're branding yourself and you plan to brand yourself for a long period of time, I always go with .com. It's what's out there. I don't think it matters if you go with .org or .net or .com as far as what you want to do online. But as far as branding goes, I always go with .com. That's all I'd say.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Does that answer your question, William? You good?
You're muted, William.
You're
Okay,
unmuted now.
What I understand, .com is commercial. That's what it means. So that would be given to us when we are branding ourselves on Onpassive.
Okay.
That is my question.
Okay, William. For that, like we said, everything when we hear when the CEO comes out and talk to us, he tells us that by default, you will have some suggestions, okay? The system will suggest you some domain names for you to use them. But if you don't want the one that the system proposes to you, you can create your own. There is that possibility. Remember, like I say again, I will go back to OMail. Before we started using OMail, the system will give you it suggests an email address for you, okay? So those email addresses ended with omail.ai. So if you wanted to change your own by yourself, you would change it. So if you want to go with a generic one or the automatic one that the system proposes to you, you can go with it as well. So that will be the same thing. When we want to do go to OCreate, it will give us suggestions. If we want to go with the suggestions, fine. If we don't want it, we can propose our own and use it.
Yeah, I believe that .ai for email is very legit, but I would say .com is probably legit all around the world in business. So you would want something .com to brand yourself.
Yes, because again, if you look at all the domain names in the world, .com has 37 point something %. So it is like when you say it's one of the top or the top. Thank you, William.
Thank you, Engineer Mike. Thank you, Mike Ellis.
Thank you, William, for asking your question. Right, next we have up Chris.
Hey guys, what's happening? Michael, excellent. You are like the man every Friday night. I'm really loving your presentations. You said some pretty powerful things there that, you know me, I'm not a techie guy. I'm the poster child for anyone could do this, but you said a path to your website, which I thought was, for me, very, very powerful. My meaning is a path to your website, your business, direct traffic. All right. Remember this most important things, guys. Onpassive is branding each one of us. So I think a lot of people might be getting a little confused with the AI, the .coms, all great points. But remember, all this is going to be done for you. If you choose to make another domain name, very easy to do through the other sites they talked about. But once again, Onpassive is going to brand every one of us, which you're going to get your own domain, website, which Ron stole my thunder, which I'm glad he did. Thousands of dollars. All right, $97 to get into be a founder. Guess what that covers? You pay that subscription fee, boom, you get all that stuff. Right off the get-go, you're saving thousands of dollars. But the most important thing is Onpassive is branding each and every one of us to our business, to our website. So technically your emails and all that, AI.com, which Mike made a great point, and William made a great point. But remember, it's all done for you. Let's not scare people. So look at the world, whoever listening, I do not know anything about technology. Okay. But I do understand what Onpassive has offered me for $97. And to me, that's amazing. But Michael, once again, thank you very much. You are doing phenomenal, my man. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Chris.
you.
I think that's a good clarification for us to know that really when you come into Onpassive, it is a done for you system, as Chris explained. So you don't have to know pretty much anything. You don't really, because everything will be done for you. So that's a very, very good point. Thank you for making that clear to us. Appreciate it. Next, we have Oliver Fonte.
Yeah, hi everybody. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are, all over the world. Good presentation, Michael. That was a good one, and Mike Ellis, good also for the good point that you put out. And Chris, that was a wonderful one also. Let me say this: Onpassive has brand us, like my brother Chris Johnson just mentioned, that the brand us. We are going to save money to have a domain name, money. You save money also for the website, for somebody to build you your website, money for the hosting of that domain, and money also to maintain the monthly maintenance for both the domain and for the website. You will save money for that. Onpassive has given that, is going to give that to us for $97. I just want us to know that we are sitting on the gold mine, and everything will be done for us, and we will pay absolutely nothing, and you will still make money out of it. I also want to add something about the security of your website. Onpassive is going to give us an HTTPS secure website, and your domain will also be secured because your website will be running on your domain account. So, and there'll be a backup also. So your website will be running 24/7 with zero failure. There will be no failure on your website. The security also there is going to be superb. SSL encrypted. When you talk of SSL encrypted, you talk about secure a second layer. That is which come with the HTTPS. All the website, if you look at any website that is HTTPS, that S then means secured, and that is what the Onpassive is going to give us. So I just wanted to add that point there so that we should understand what we have. We have a domain account. I don't know how much GoDaddy pays. My problem is my business, Onpassive, my account, Onpassive, my domain account. That is what that is what makes me to be happy. My domain account and my website that will be running. I've paid just $97 for it. Is it not amazing? And it's going to be running with a backup. The backup is also going to be there, and everything that is going to come on it. The monthly payment, I will not pay for it. I don't know how much GoDaddy charges for maintenance for that. I don't know how much you're going to pay to maintain a website. I don't know. I don't want to know because I'm in Onpassive. That's what bothered me a lot. But I just want to understand where we are and what we are going to have. What what we have in our hands. So please, your website is going to be secured, encrypted SSL, and it's going to have a backup that there will be zero failure. You will never hear that your website is down. Thank you.
Pretty much what you're saying, Oliver, is that we're getting security as well as extremely high value.
Yes.
Just because we are in Onpassive. It's unparalleled value that no other company can match.
No.
Isn't that true?
No.
So
yes. You will not pay. You will not pay for it because normally you are supposed to pay for maintenance fee for GoDaddy, for your domain, and you're going to pay maintenance also to maintain your website. We have been $97 for that. have the $97 to pay for that.
And over time, those fees add up annually. You know, it's expensive.
Yes, it's expensive. It might be $500 a monthly for monthly charges for that. We don't know. Or maybe it might be $1,000. We don't know. You know, so the amount of money we are going to save and we are going to make money again from it is we cannot beat that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Next, we have Niraj Dalvi, Leadership Council member, who would like to say a few words.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Lynn. I have been working online, and one of the things which I just want to explore your mind by what I'm trying to say. So this is fine. OnPassive is going to do everything is fine. But if you remember what Ash said in how do we earn utilization of products. So I used to do and if there is any marketer, I'm sure Mike Ellis would be knowing this. Like a domain name is like in physical sense, it is like a real estate. In the online world, it is like a real estate. So the domain name is very important. And like one of the things I can add apart from what was said is generally a domain name. The best domain name is 2 or 3 words. And you should not have a double clinger. What does double clinger mean? For example, the first word is OnPassive, and so OnPassive ends with letter E, and then you have another word, OnPassive earns. So you have OnPassive, and again you have the letter E. So just try to avoid that. That was it, and I was talking about utilization of the domain. Like it's very important that you name the domains properly, because as I said, you have real estate. I have been doing domain flipping, where you purchase the domain at a very low cost, and then you actually create a website, and then you actually sell it to the marketplace. So just wanted to tell you that just explore all the opportunities. That's it. So. Thank you.
Very interesting. Thank you so much, Niraj. I learned stuff from you just now. Thank you. All right, next we have Julie Wynn, Leadership Council member. Great to have you here.
Hello. Sorry, someone's calling me on. Anyway, hi, Lynn and Ron. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for doing this. Engineering my awesome presentations, and Oliver and Bob Takusi are also here. Great job on what you are doing. Everyone who's watching, these really brilliant men are talking about technologies, and it's amazing. What they're talking about is to help us all expanding more of our knowledge so that you understand how things work. But I'd like you to go back to the conversation that Mr. Ash had with Key Window last meeting, right? I don't remember exactly, but he had referring to something where, you don't really have to go to Google to look for certain things and what you're doing. Think about Onpassive as a whole network, a whole ecosystem, right? So your domain name it's in the network of Onpassive, right? If everyone pay attention on some of the posts that Kevin Rutledge put out there, right? He put Onpassive wins, right? Or there's a lot of founders putting website domain name out there. But if you really pay attention when you enter that URL, that domain name, right? I also put Julie, my last name .work, or WORK, right? If you're really looking at the URL or the domain name that I'm entering in, it runs directly to link number 49, right? That is your onpassive.com. Each and every one of us right now have in our back office link number 49. Every single webinar, I draw your attention to them. link number 49. Link number 49 is I believe it's going to be your business, right? You're never going to have to really, after it launched, you don't have to promote the brand of Onpassive anymore, right? At that time, Onpassive will promote your brand. So think about your brand. I love the fact that Engineering Mike brought up the point where he said, you got to do it simple where people could remember, no dash, no number. That's all great tips. I think Engineering Mike brought a lot of points into it. So when you are in Onpassive network, we don't know what is it going to be. Is it going to be .com? Is it going to be .ai? Is it going to be .org? So think about the brand, right? Think about what is your brand going to be. Is your brand going to be David Schweitzer something? That something behind there is, I think it's going to coming from later on after we pay for the package, right? So it's really important on the domain name, catchy, but remember, Onpassive will promote your brand, right? And everything that we all learned here today, it's something that we're expanding our knowledge, understanding about domain name, understanding about AI. I learned so much watching this, but I really like you to think about Onpassive business itself. It's done deal for you, right? Think about 1.2 million people having the same but yet different website, right? Onpassive.com right now has, after it launched, all of us going to have different domain name, like Chris Johnson I'm going to use .ai because I love it, right? ChrisJohnson.ai will look exactly the same as onpassive.com right now. What we've seen in onpassive.com website right now, it's only a fraction of what Onpassive truly is. I'm putting all the pieces of Mr. Mufareh said before, right? There's going to be 1,000 or hundreds of thousand pages within onpassive.com or within chrisjohnson.ai, right? So if you were to put yourself in terms of doing the marketing of some brand, of your brand, right? There's going to be 1 million or 1.2 millions right now website that has a content of what Onpassive is sharing with thousands of pages in there. I mean, your brand is going to be so amazing. So when Mr. Mufareh talked about in that meeting, last meeting, he said, think about your domain name. I think he was, and I believe he's telling us that, think about what are you going to call your onpassive.com or your link number 49, business, right? So really think about it. Do you want it to be, your name? Or do you want to be a kindness something? Or do you want to be, I want to save the world something, right? So think about that name, that brand that you're calling yourself. So I think branding yourself is very important when these gentlemen here, Mike, Bob, Takusi, and Oliver are talking about branding your domain name, talking about that. I'd like you to think about what's important to you. What does that website speak about you? That's going to be your business. Sorry, Lynn, I'm trying to explain my thought. It goes a little bit lengthy, but I hope everyone kind of get the gist of what I'm sharing.
Well, that was very, very good information. I agree with you. And then the branding, that's a super, super important concept. So with all of this technology that we're hearing about, just remember the bottom line is Onpassive is here to brand us. We're not going to be promoting Onpassive. Onpassive is promoting each and every one of us. And that's what makes Onpassive very, very special and unique, unlike any other company. So I think you brought us some great points. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Julie. All right, now we have David Switzer. Hello, David. Go ahead and speak. You'll need to unmute. Yes, we hear you.
Okay, I just want to say something. I used to be in marketing here. I used to market and I used to be in GoDaddy too. And the thing is you just want to keep your domain name simple. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't need to be hard. It's just don't get all worked up if you don't come up with the right name. Because I used to call myself DavidSwitzer.com's Freedom. That's what my name used to be back when I used to market. So it's just make it simple. Don't make it hard on yourself. Just if they don't like that name, they'll pick another name out for you. You know, see if you like that or not. But just keep it simple. I agree with everything what everybody is saying here. But you know, like I said, I was in marketing and I was in GoDaddy and for 3 or 4 years. And but the thing is, just keep your domain. Just be simple with it. It ain't hard. Just pick out a name that you're gonna like. And you can use your name or you can use a business name, but make sure you kind of stick, like Mike said, keep that .com. And then after that .com, maybe put the name of your business in. You can use your name, then put the name of your business in. Or you can use your name and put Freedom like I did. Or you can put the business name in, then maybe after .com, you're gonna put something else in. Just keep it simple. That's all it is. There's no pressure in that domain name whatsoever. Okay, that's all I got to say.
I love it, David. Great, simple explanation on your part. Keep it simple. I love it. Thank you so much. Next, we have Frank Amposa. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you, Lynn. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Thank you so much. This is very informative. I just want to know, Engineer Mike mentioned that there will be some suggestions, generic suggestions from the company, just like we have in the old mail. And he also did mention that you have the opportunity to do your own thing, bring out your own name if you want. Now, what I want to know is there any risk involved in when you create your own name instead of taking the one that is being suggested by the company or opting for the generic one? Is there any advantages or disadvantages concerning that?
Okay, let me get that to you, sir. Thank you. So one thing you need to know is that remember that our systems are powered by artificial intelligence, okay? So when they are powered by artificial intelligence, they can bring up suggestions for that kind of, remember, one of the tips that I also elaborated this evening was that your brand name should reflect your kind of business, right? So if you want to do, I took an example of my friend in Owinner, Willie Digital. I say he can just say his own will be digitalservices.ai. So remember, and I also say your company name should reflect your kind of business. So if artificial intelligence is working for you, right, it will see, remember that you have a name that is registered in Onpassive. So for instance, your name is Frank Apostle, right? So might be when you will be logging in to go to OCreate, it will ask you the kind of business that you do. When you put in the information, it will ask you your name, it put in the information, then it will generate now a generic name for you, which is by default from the information that you will give it, right? Your kind of business, your name, and all of that, your statistics, your data, phone numbers, and all of that. So based on your kind of business that you do, it can propose those names for you. So but there is no risk for you to either take it or you leave it. Nothing, there's no risk there, no. But remember that what the machine will be doing for you, it is what it will understand more because it has seen the information that you have given him based on your kind of business. So I would rather just go with what the machine proposed to me. But you can also do otherwise by changing it, but there's no risk there. Thank you very much. I don't know if that is an answer to your question, Frank.
Does that answer you, Frank? Hopefully that was sufficient. All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to go on to Cindy Hopkins' comment or question. And after that, we want to go into the OChat and OTracker, which I believe Bob Takusi and Oliver Fonte are going to be talking about, as well as whoever else wants to speak on that topic. So let's go ahead and have Cindy come down and ask her question. Hi,
Hey.
Cindy Hopkins, who is on the
Hi.
Leadership Council, one of the original 6 Leadership Council members. We're happy to have you.
I am so happy to be here, but I'll tell you what, I'm just amazed at all the learning I continue to do. And that's why I agree with you, Lynn, as you say over and over, the value is so great here with Onpassive, because, you know, I've been in it from the very beginning, basically, and I learn just every time I go to one of these wonderful webinars, is like you and Ron have. I mean, they're incredible. And all these wonderful leaders that are on here give such super information that I couldn't afford, even begin to afford to get that kind of education out there. In fact, I have paid thousands of dollars to get the information that we get here free just by coming to these webinars. So I really appreciate all of you folks, that you help so much, and all of your information. I really like what Mike has gone over, and really what all of the people have gone over, but also with Julie. That was really interesting to me. I knew it, but I was so grateful that she reminded me of the link 49. I wanted to be sure and go over that with our group on our calls and everything, because that's incredible in itself. But what I also loved, what Mike said was, and I think this really resonates with me. I mean, I really know that in speaking and trying to help a lot of founders, and especially like often gets said by Chris, is that he's not a techie. And that's what a lot of people really worry about, that they are not techies, and they stress big time over all of this. And don't. That's what I want to say. And I think that's what Julie tries to get across time and again. Do not stress, because what Mike was talking about is, if you don't have a web domain name, or say you've got lots of positions, you know, people say, well, I can think of one name, or maybe even 2 or 3 that are and simple and so vital. Mike said, leave it to the company. They'll come up. It is AI, and it's top-notch AI. They will give the suggestions you need, and or very close to the suggestions, and you can tweak it a little when it's right in front of your face, and it'll give you a suggestion that is already taken. And so you don't have to stress over it. When Ash Mufareh says all done for you, get that in your head, guys. It will all be done for you. I mean, the only thing we'll have to do is make choices, you know, activate our position, be ethical, do the right thing, and choose what we want. That's it. We get choices. Always we're in control. So just remember that. Have fun. Get rid of that stress. That's what this is for. You know, we're to have fun. And this is such a phenomenal journey that I've had. And yeah, I've gotten through my impatience and gotten through this and that, but I see what's coming. And I am so proud and honored part of this with all of you wonderful, wonderful people. And I just thank you for caring so much, each and every one of you founders that come to the calls, come to the conferences, come to the webinars. You care. You already have everything that it takes. Listen to Ash Mufareh and all of the leaders. You know, we're along for the ride. It's all going to be done for us. All we got to do is show up. So I want to thank you again, Ron and Lynn, for you know, having these wonderful webinars. Very informative, as all of the leaders that give the webinars. I mean, gosh, it's a great education, and I thank you so much. And thanks for giving me a chance to say that. No questions, really, just big kudos, okay?
Thank you, Cindy, so much. You know, the whole concept is don't stress. Don't stress.
It is.
Onpassive is going to do everything for us, literally, not
And
like any other company, right, Cindy?
It is so true because, you know, if they're like the rest of the world, they're going to say, okay, well, that's easy for her to say, or she's been in for a long, but not true. I see Julie smiling and you know, she's so right. You know, keep it easy. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. You know, have some fun, but don't stress. You know, I don't have time for that. Life's too short. Life is too
Exactly.
short. You know, have fun.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. I
Mhm,
agree
thank you.
100%. Thank you. All right. Before we go on to the OChat and OTracker topic, I do see we have a question in the chat from Ed Trono. And Ed Trono is from Canada. It's his first time to be in Friday Night Live. So welcome to you. I hope you're enjoying the topic of domain names. He says, if I may suggest, to simplify and for uniformity's sake, can we just use one domain? For example, onpassive.com/username. So everyone can have the same domain name. And the only difference is the username. Could this be possible? Of course, anyone who desires to have his or her own domain name of his or her choice, you know, he's saying that can be done. Thanks and God bless. So if we could have a very succinct answer from our panel here today to address his question, please. It's a very good one.
Okay. If
Why
I
don't you
may,
let-
sorry,
Who's going to take the question?
I was to take it. I don't know
Yeah.
if somebody was to take it. Okay, Lynn. So thank you for the question, sir. What is happening is that you should know that in life, there are so many, another side of the coin, right? No, not everybody is the same, on the same page always. So people have the different opinions and we should respect those people's opinions. Not everybody will want to go with the same thing as generic as everybody. So people have choices. And Mr. Aj Mufareh is that man that will always give choices to people. So I'll say it will be like people can decide to use whatever they want to use. It is your own choice. He never forces people. He gives us all the founders an opportunity to do whatever we want to do, what we like to do. So it is all about choices. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I think Bob Takusti was going to chime in.
Oh, okay.
I know. I
Go
agree
ahead.
with what Michael is saying, and I was just going to add that you know, this system is powered by artificial intelligence. So the suggestions that the system is going to bring forth to you for your domain name is going to most likely be the most appropriate, succinct website address for you to use. So I would highly recommend everybody to go with the suggestion that our system will generate for you.
Lynn, can I add
Thank
something
you.
here?
Go ahead. Niraj,
Okay.
go ahead.
When you have onpassive.com's / and then name of the username, indirectly you are using a subdomain. And the whole idea of Ash was to give users their own identity. And that's the reason that we have we are going to have our own domain name, because if you go to any other company, you will see amway.com/Neeraj, amway.com/Lynn, and all that stuff. So he wanted to give identity to individuals. So that's the reason he's giving domain. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good point. Appreciate that. Julie, I didn't see your hand raised because it's a very light color hand and my vision is really bad. So sorry about that. Please come on down. So sorry.
Okay, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. You know, Niraj did touch on it very accurately, that Mr. Mufareh wants you to have your own identity, right? So as we said earlier, that we are not promoting the brand of Onpassive after Onpassive launch, right? we are promoting our own brand, whatever the name of your brand is. So that's one of the reasons why Mr. Mufareh said in the webinars, I think months ago, he said, when your activation fee paid, you own your business 100%, right? Onpassive will do the work, helping you to promote your brand. So to answer to the gentleman's question, it's going to be in your own brand of whatever that you are choosing, right? So that's the answer to it. But I like to also, a lot of people ask me, how do I get my website and then get it to be link number 49? A lot of people, seeing my website out there and they say, oh, how did you do that in order for you to get that website? But then once people click on it, it's going to go to my link number 49. So what I did was I called the domain owner. I mean, some of us here in the US know GoDaddy, right? So I go to GoDaddy and I picked out a domain name that I like and I purchased it. It's very inexpensive. If you bought something that is, crazily famous and you pay a lot, but I did, it's just my name. If you really go on there, mynameonthare.com, it's like $800,000. So I didn't want to pay for that. So I just picked anything that is affordable to myself. And then I called them up and I said, I do have a website and I wanted to forward my website into the domain name that I just bought. So they just did it for me. So now if you were to click on my website, you'll see it takes me directly into my link number 49, right? So if you like to do that, and if you want that to be something that you do, you go and look for some brand that you like. I mean, your name is your brand. I would recommend you start with that first, right? And then ask them to forward your link number 49 to it. And it makes it really simple and easy for you. You could do a OTrim that we have, the product OTrim that we have, but you have to really remember it. You have to go www.otrim something and then your brand. But if you just say, julienwin.work, it's just based on your reference of however you want it to do. So it's really easy. All you got to do is get a domain name, forward the link to that domain name, and then you have your own website at this point. But once Onpassive launch, it's going to be something that is brilliant, because as you can see, all the products of Onpassive right now, they are brilliant products. So they're going to suggest a lot of those brilliant name on there, right? For us to all pick. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to be able to pick those domain names, or for my own brand. Like everyone say here, do not worry, it's all done. But think of this as your business, means that there has to be some efforts putting in. Mr. Mufareh said, we are going to put Onpassive is going to put 100% in. And now we need to put our own 100% in to make our business 200% successful, right? So I just wanted to convey that with everyone and kind of like bring that point up for everyone. Thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
It's so good to hear your voice today, Cindy. I'm glad that you sound very well. Take care of yourself, Cindy. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy Cindy's here as well. Thank you, Julie, for all those pointers. Appreciate you so much. Right. So what we would like to do now, we've only got about half an hour left, and we wanted to be able to cover OChat and OTracker. So if you don't mind, Denbo, we're going to go and start that topic. And then after they're done, if we have time, we'll entertain questions and comments. Thanks for your patience. So let's go ahead and give Bob Takusi the floor now. Thank you.
All right. Hello there, everyone. Greetings from Bel Air, Maryland. I'm speaking to you from Bel Air, Maryland. Just want to say hello to all the Leadership Council members. Special shout out to Mike Ellis. Mr. Mike, it's good to see you, everybody. Julie, Cindy, Niraj, Chris Johnson, everybody. It's a pleasure being here. I also want to take this opportunity to also express my profound condolence to Mr. David Bakau for the loss of his wife. Just let him know that our thoughts and prayers are with him for the repose of the soul of his dear wife, and just ask them to remember her by just keeping her legacy, what she stood for, alive. So having said that, so we've been talking about domains, our domain. The system is automated. So Mr. Ash has done something very brilliant for us. He's working 24/7 around the clock for us to automate this system so that we have less to do. So when we come in initially, when we activate ourselves initially, we create our domain, and then the company starts the branding of us. Now, in that domain, all the products that we've been talking about, that's where they lie. When customers come in to our websites, which is our domain, then they find the products and then they purchase the product and then the company pays us commissions. So what are these products that we have in the system? Almost 53 of them. So tonight we're going to talk about OChat and OTracker. You know, when I listened to Mr. Ash on Sunday, he had a very good discussion with Dr. Shah. And it was a very beautiful thing to see two great minds. You could see mutual respect from each other. Nice conversation, brilliant. And when Dr. Shah asked Mr. Ash a question about that we have, how many employees do we have, something to the effect of how many employees you have. Google has 60,000, Facebook, they have all these many employees. And Mr. Ash said, well, right now we have about 1,000 employees and we're building our system. Remember, it's AI driven. And then he talked of, we have other things, you know, and then he talked of OChat. When he said that, I smiled, I laughed, and I gave myself a fist bump. Because as my fellow O-winners who are here will testify, I've been screaming about OChat for more than a year now. OChat, the product of Onpassive called OChat. With this product, Mr. Ash and our tech guys in India have demonstrated the awesome power of artificial intelligence with OChat. OChat, to me, I think is one of the most significant products that we have. OChat. OChat is a virtual agent. Mr. Ash could have told Dr. Shah that we have 1 million employees, or 10 million employees, or 100 million employees. But as gracious as he is, he just went with the flow. OChat is our virtual agent. OChat is the one working for us while we are asleep. OChat. OChat is a customized, conversational, very intelligent, very smart. OChat is a human being. The OChat that Onpassive is bringing is like a human being. And as a matter of fact, in our team, at the O-Winners team, we believe that OChat is a woman. And I was very pleased when Mr. Ash came up and said our digital assistant is called Sona, which is named after Sona Lisa, who is the head of our support. OChat is the one who is going to be there for us, whether you are there, when your shop is open 24/7. OChat is the girl working for you round the clock. So, there are so many ways in which systems use artificial intelligence to optimize, the system, make it work better. OChat it has a cognitive ability to understand human interaction. OChat is designed to understand how to interact with human beings. So what will happen is there will be people will come, customers will come to your website, interact with that website, have a beautiful experience, and leave. And they will not know that they were dealing with a machine. Because what OTracker does, as you come in, as you initiate a session, it starts to understand, it tries to figure out who you are, your age, your race, your mood, your gender, where you are, your location, and things like that. Then it remembers that conversation and keeps it in her memory. So when you come back next time, it will recall whatever conversation that you had. And that way, I mean, people will actually believe that this is a human being we are dealing with, but actually it's a machine. It's not a human being. And then it also has the ability to make function calls. Like if you come in and you want to do, you need a service or something that is automated and to automated process, they will just do a function called robotic process automation, something that systems, will do repeatedly, a repeated process, they will just call and that is done for you. There was a time when Mr. Mufareh said there will be a day where before you go to sleep, you will check your back office. Then you go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning, you check your back office. What you see, you run outside naked screaming. Why did he say that? What is happening? I'd like to discuss about this OTracker because most of us, most founders and prospective founders, they don't really grasp the magnitude of OTracker and what is really happening behind the scenes. This is why Mufareh is telling us that, come on in, believe in me, you don't have to do anything. I'm going to build your business. Everything's going to happen. This is the automation of Onpassive. I'm going to build your business for you. Don't worry, that's the pleasure he's giving and he's going to keep it. The system is going to work for you. What is working for you? Because most people will be like, oh, what do you mean? So I'm going to come to your, you say you're going to create a business and then I'm going to come, I will make money without doing any work. Something is happening for you behind the scenes. Something is working behind the scenes. Who is that? What is happening? So in our team, we have something that we call the Mufareh Global Suite. It's a theory that we believe that's what is going to happen. Remember, Mr. Mufareh is the master of traffic generation online. That is how he made his millions. He's a master of traffic generation. As a matter of fact, he's putting this system, everything together right now, making sure everything is in place. But his work is about to start. He's going to push the customers to all the founders. That's his pleasure he's giving to us. Here's the theory. It's just a theory based on how looking at things. We believe that Mufareh is going to do what we call the Mufareh Global Sweep. And I'm glad we have some folks here from Australia. I see John Butakis, David Pijot, and Narelle Warren. Here is our theory. And I believe the reason why Mr. Ash said what he said, that you're going to wake up and then you scream when you go outside naked. Today, right now, is tomorrow in Australia. I think they will tell us that it's already tomorrow in Australia. Right now, we're in the US, right? We're already going to bed. We are sleeping soon. We believe that Mr. Ash is going to start sending his algorithms to Australia because Australia is up. So you go to where the people are up to push them towards Onpassive, to us the founders. You start in Australia, and then guess where he goes next? India. After India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, China, we have not much in there, but China is going to open up soon. He goes down to Africa, make his sweep around Europe, come back, Middle East, Dubai, North and South America. When that sweep is done, that's about 5 billion people, 4.85 billion people. When those customers come, they're going to come to our various websites. They're branding us. Remember, we have branded all of us in our domains. We're just talking about our domains. They have branded each and every one of us. Mufareh is sending customers. Remember also, The office in Singapore is also filled with traffic specialists who are actually pushing those customers to us, right? When those customers come to your websites while you are asleep, or you might be up or whatever, it's virtual. When those customers come, who do they meet? It's OTracker. OTracker is the one who is there 24/7, never goes to sleep, answering the calls, taking orders, accepting payments, answering questions. OTracker is like a business analyst. OTracker is a woman, we think. OTracker understands everything about the system. Everything. OTracker is a business analyst. OTracker is a system analyst. OTracker is a support assistant. OTracker is everything. Takes all the information and responds to you, and you would not know. There's a process called a natural language processor. It focuses on the cognitive ability of the system, how it interacts with humans. So this thing it's a customized, it's different from the regular chatbot. This is not the regular chatbot that we have. This is a different chatbot system that Onpassive is bringing. You will interact with this product and you would not know that it's not a human being. Remember, OTracker virtual. That means OTracker can replicate itself. So if you have 10 customers on your domain, on your website at one time, requesting, asking, wanting to buy products and asking services and questions, OTracker can replicate itself that many times and deal with those customers as it happens. If you have 1 million customers, OTracker will. If you have 10 million, OTracker will. That's why I said, as Mufareh was very gracious, he could say, no, we have 10 million employees. OTracker will respond to those queries because it is virtual, it can replicate itself. And then OTracker can speak any language. So your customers are in Paris, they speak French, OTracker will speak French. They are in Dubai, they speak Arabic, OTracker will speak Arabic. Where are they? They are in Canada, they speak English, OTracker will speak English. So OTracker speaks every language. That is why I believe OTracker is, when everything is said and done, and the system is in full blast, everything, all 53 pistons are in full blast. OTracker it is OTracker who is making us money, taking payments, crediting our wallet, and doing all those things. OTracker, that's how it has been configured. And then Mr. Mufareh and our tech guys, they do something very, very magnificent. You will interact with this product, with OTracker. Of course, it's a machine, it's a virtual thing. There might be times where, things don't go right. Right? OTracker is going to synchronize with support. OTracker will synchronize with support, and then a live person will show up. So there's no way it's going to be hard to convince that customer that I've not been dealing with a human being all throughout this time. OTracker. So that's how I see it from the outside. I think this product is going to be a big deal in the market. And remember, it is not only for us. OTracker is a product. It's an Onpassive product, meaning that customers are going to want this tool also to buy it and implement it in their systems. It automates everything. It's a human being. It's a virtual human being. It's an agent, a digital agent. So that's how we see OTracker, and that's how I wanted to present it. So to bring us to the realization that there is something working for you in the system. It is automated. There is something working for you. Constantly, you have an employee or employees that are up 24/7. They never get tired. They are up 24/7 working for you round the clock. That's why Mr. Mufareh is saying that you're going to be your account is going to be credited every second, every time there's a transaction, everything is done, you get your payment. It's OChat who is in there. It's automated. And remember, with machine learning, the more information that we have, the more the thing perfects itself. So it only gets better with time. So that's how we see OChat. And I'm also going to take on OTracker, Miss Lynn. That's okay. Then Oliver will just come in at the end and then we'll just summarize it. For OTracker, I believe OTracker is a product that every single businessman or woman who is online, who has a presence online, globally, big or small. Remember, if you listen, the video that is in the back office, the 7 minutes and 18 seconds video. Right now it's in the, if you go to the updates page, if you go to Mr. Ash Mufareh's page, you see the one video that is there. That introductory. It's also in our, splash page. As you log in, that video, there's a message in there. There's a lot of messages in there. Mr. Ash is saying there that, I believe those are Ash's words. There's a narrator who is speaking. But he's saying there that we are building tomorrow's technology today. Building tomorrow's technology today. These are the products that we're talking about. OTracker. With OTracker, Mr. Mufareh and our tech guys have done a masterful job. They have combined artificial intelligence and business intelligence to create this product. But he doesn't even talk about it. Remember, he told us last week that it is unmetered. He's bringing it forward. There are other IP, Starfire IP, there are other IP tracking systems out there. He's bringing this in and giving it to the market, just like he does everything, trying to level the playing field. He's going to give it unlimited. Artificial intelligence and business intelligence combined to create this product. Artificial intelligence, the system, you create a system, you want to apply intelligence to a system to make it behave like us. So like humans. So the system is going to be processing things just like us, like humans, right? So you apply intelligence to our system. Business intelligence, on the other hand, what does it do? It collects intelligence about your customers, right? Collects intelligence, business analytics information, data visualization. You want to visualize the data and you can make sense out of it. Data analysis, verification, predictive analysis. It gathers all that information. That's what the business analysis does. Business analytics. It gathers all that information, and then the executives, they make decisions based on the data. So Mr. Ash combines artificial intelligence to that, right? So now that decision is going to be taken. You don't have to go sit to the boardroom and make a decision. AI is going to, there's an area of artificial intelligence called decision management. So now, when you do your analysis, you have your data mining, everything, you understand the pattern, the trends of everything, you make a decision and the system can respond using AI. So OTracker helps you keep track of your customers, your customers, you know who your customers are, so you can target them. When any person comes to your website, any customer, the system traps your IP address. And then they keep track of you. As you go into the system, the time that you spend in the system, you navigate your likes that you make in the system, your comments, everything that you do, OTracker, OC. And that's what they use to make those analytical judgments that the system will later on use its AI power to respond, to act. And I'm going to demonstrate this with a story, how this is possible as we see it from the outside. There are some key features with this product. Some very key features that Ash, that some of them are already in the industry, but he brings it out and makes it much, gives it more power. We have geolocation, right? The system is programmed to figure it out as soon as the IP address, somebody hits your website. With geolocation, you can know exactly which part of the world they are, which city, which state, which zip code, down to the T. OTracker will track that information and get it. They have geofencing. Geofencing is just like a logical perimeter that you can put around an area, a geographical area, to either restrict or let people that this is the area that I want to belong, I want to be in, I want my customers to focus on, right? And as I say this, I remember about 3 months ago or so, my friend Miss Elanit Lebanon, she has some of her partners, her team members in Israel. I think there's a certain day that they did not want their shop, their business to be open. So she asked Mr. Ash how they could fix that. And Mr. Ash said, oh, we just geofencing. So you just put a fence, a logical fence around that, that geographical area, and you don't send traffic there. That's geofencing. Then we have heat map. Heat map. So imagine this one is new. This one is new. There's nothing like this in the market right now. This is an Onpassive creation coming in. So you have your dashboard. You are looking at your website, your OTracker dashboard, and you are seeing exactly, you look at the map of where you are, where your customers, the specific area where they are. Imagine the kind of business decisions you could make with that. So we bring in heat map, and then we also have fraud detection. These are the key features. Fraud detection. OTracker and Onpassive as a whole is bad news to scammers. Bad news to scammers. Remember, we are powered by AI. So artificial intelligence already comes in with its default security. It has a default detection mechanism in it already. So those who are fond of scamming, you will have to be buying a new phone every time you try to come into an Onpassive network and try to scam. Because the system locks your IP address, it catches it, brings it up, blacklists you. You will not be able to come back. Most of us who are here in North America and there are other parts of the world, I receive calls from somewhere around Asia that I owe IRS. I'm sure some of you do too. You owe in the IRS, somebody calls you that this is the IRS, you owe $5,000, and if you pay $2,000 now, they're on the phone with you and they're trying to scam you and all that. Or the letter that we get from, the email we get from somewhere in Ghana, or some prince says that they have just, they've lost their father and they have this inheritance and they need money to pay paperwork to clear. Those things, the system captures, the AI will detect the pattern and they'll pick it up and they are blacklisted. They will not be able to come into the system again. So scammers are going to be very, 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 very sad with Onpassive and OTracker. It can track you to wherever you are. The system will track you right down to the T where you are. And there are other features, like location, currency, reporting, analysis, and all that. So it's a very good product. But also, OTracker is integrated with tracking codes. So you know how your commercial, your marketing campaigns are performing. So you can make decisions. And then it is also integrated with OTraffic and OFunnel and funnel. So that means OTracker keeps track of your customers, where they are. Remember, this is targeted your customers, right? Or targeted traffic. Will target their traffic where it wants to go, puts it in a funnel. You know, a funnel, like you want to put gas in a car, you take a funnel and it targets where it's going, and then it pushes traffic. That's what Mufareh is doing. So let me just bring this in simple terms, how I see it. I hope I'm not taking too much time. Ms. Lynn, just interrupt me if you want me to cut it short.
You're good.
Okay. Let's bring it home. There's a lady in our team, and I always say this because this woman, sometime last year, she asked me, say, hey, she calls me Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob, this OTracker, can you really explain it to me? Let me understand. So as I explained it to her, I created this imaginary company of hers. So here it goes. So her name is Miss Yvonne. She's a very elegant. She's one of our firebrands in our team, Miss Yvonne. I give you a shout out to Sylvie Wanji. So we assume that she has a shop online, and we have decided that she's going to, when Onpassive launches this shop, she's going to have this shop online just for the heck of it. I know she doesn't need it, but she's going to get it. So she's a very elegant woman. She loves nice African wear and perfumes, nice perfumes. So she has a store online. She sells her stuff online. She gets OTracker. So she realized OTracker, with OTracker now, she can keep track of her customers, where they are everywhere in the world. She realizes that her OTracker tells her that her customers are in Des Moines, Iowa. She doesn't know them, but this is a made-up story, but a lady who was a Peace Corps sometime in Cameroon found her website. OTracker pushed her because she was searching online. OTracker caught her and pointed her to her website. So she bought this nice African wear and some perfumes, and then she wore it and went to her church service. And the whole church, everybody in her church wanted those dresses. So they started buying from her website. But then after a while, you realize that the sales slowed down, and then OTracker, as OTracker is keeping track of the customers, right? Their comments, their likes and everything online, they realized that the customers were complaining on the price. The price was a little too high. This is why we say Onpassive is going to help you revitalize your digital marketing strategy for a complete business transformation. This is what we mean. So OTracker realizes that the sales is down, and they complain the price is a little bit too much. Business analytics, the system collects that information and they do the analysis. They realize that, well, of course, she has a baseline of where her price cannot fall. Decision management in artificial intelligence will come now, and they will drop down that price. Possibly, a commercial goes out back to that area in Des Moines, Iowa. And then she starts seeing her sales quadruple again. All she knows is that she has to go get more inventory, more stock. She has to restock. That's what Onpassive has, the OTracker has done to transform her digital marketing strategy for total transformation. Now she's just going and restocking her clothes, her African wear and her perfumes, her exotic perfumes. That is what Onpassive, the concept of Onpassive, AI-driven. That is what is happening here with OTracker. And it goes to any company, Best Buy, Walmart, all large major corporations will need OTracker to do the same service at a larger scale. So it's not for an individual or small, medium, all companies, all. Even in Africa and Papua New Guinea or India, in remote areas. I was in Africa, I was in Cameroon this December. I went to the city of Bamenda, where women, they sell corn and plum on the street. They burning corn and plum. Very nice, organic corn and plum. In the Southwest, in the coast, that's where I'm from, in Limbe, they roast fish by the beach because we have the sea, the Atlantic Ocean. We are right at the banks of the Atlantic Ocean. So they sell fish, fresh fish. They come and then they grill them. Very nice, very, very nice. In the city of Douala, we have this thing that they do puff puff and beans. They eat in the morning like our own breakfast. Very nice. All these women, they have cell phones. They are talking, they are selling their products and they are on the phones. Their children are in the generation of the new age generation where they know how to use all these products and they're educated. They can use OTracker. Even in Papua New Guinea, I'm sure things like this happen. People sell hawkers and things like that. That woman with ODomain, we just talked about ODomain, they can subscribe, create their website, get their own domain through Onpassive, create their website, because ODomain comes also with I think it's integrated with our own website builder. I think it's OCreate. So they can build their own website and then traffic. So when fresh fish comes from the sea, they can send a broadcast to their customers. So as the fish comes, customers already know when it comes. In Bamenda, those who sell the fresh plum and corn, same thing will happen in Papua New Guinea or in India, anywhere in the remote area. So this OTracker, the way I see it, I believe is going to outperform itself. The projection now is we're saying it's about 2 billion in market share. Maybe in 3-4 years, it's another 5 billion. I believe it's going to, what OTracker is going to do to businesses, it's really going to revolutionize businesses. So those are the two products I wanted to talk about, and I just wanted to bring it out this way. So we see it in layman's terms, what is happening. These are, if I go back and I want to say, let's talk about O-Connect. I'm in the industry. Mufareh is doing something that the world has never seen. There's no comparison with any one of our testify guys. As I sit here, I testify to you guys. There is nothing in the industry right now that can compare to any one of our products. Name it, I'll tell you. The features, the products, the security that's embedded in them. It's huge. So that is why I implore all of us to let Mr. Mufareh do what he's doing. This man knows exactly what he's doing. He's placing us at a place where we are going to be untouchable. When Onpassive launches, our lives changes forever, all of us. So until Lynn, I'm going to send it back to you and Uncle Ron, and if there are any questions, we'll be glad to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Bob. Great presentation. We appreciate it. A lot of information. My head is this big right now.
No. If you understand what Mr. Mufareh is doing, you look at these products and you understand the impact.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. We are going to go ahead and extend a little bit. If anybody wants to ask some questions to Uncle Bob on OChat or OTracker, raise your hands, please. And we're going to take a few questions before we close it out.
Sure.
All right. Engineer Mike, come on down.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. Uncle Bob, thank you for bringing up. In our small group called Winners, I call Uncle Bob. He's the man of the products. So he gives us a lecture on the products and all the features that we have, and we are very amazed. That's why we know a lot about the products, and we can come out here and share with you people. So, you know, I just wanted to add one thing to what Uncle Bob told us about OTracker. In OTracker as well, we can see that we have this, our other product called OTrim. If you look at OTrim, you will see that OTracker is embedded in OTrim. Because when you track, when you go to a website, you create the URL, you trim it, then you try to track it. It will give you some information. That information will be the country the person is that IP address that the person used, the country the person is logging from, the city, the IP address, then even the website. But for now, it has not completed, right? The website, and there also, I mean, the timestamp when the person logged into it. So all this detailed information is there on OTracker. It is embedded in our OTrim, because that is why when we are playing with it, we realize that that's the information we get from it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Engineer Mike. We appreciate that.
Denbo.
I'm gonna butcher your name. Denbo?
Denbo
Is that right?
Mufareh.
Come on down. You have to unmute there, sir. Nope, not yet. You're still muted.
Hello.
Okay, we got you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm audible now. Yes, thank you, Bob, for your very great articulated explanation of OTracker and OChat. Just before we started that explanation, I just wanted to seek a clarification from the domain. Now, .com, .ai are top-level domains. And I think as Onpassive, we should encourage, I don't know if we've decided to adopt which of the top levels, is it .com or .ai, just like the old mail. So if we do, which I think the AI is the most trendy and futuristic, you know. So I think that we should stick with the AI as the top level. So so like I think one of the founders asked that question on the chat, and I think Lynn was talking about it before we segued to your presentation. So I just wanted to sort that clarification and see if we're going to fix with the .ai or .com as the top level domain.
I personally, I'm not positive. I can't tell you, you know, maybe that's a question for Mr. Ash. That's a good question for Mr. Ash, or maybe one of the leadership council members could tell us. But personally, I cannot give you.
Okay, maybe we can convey this to them more so that we've started using the top level and the email.
Top level, more than likely, our domain is going to be .ai, but I don't know.
Bob, I think Marty has his hand up. He might have some
yes, maybe Marty. Yeah,
info on it. Marty.
Hi, Marty. Yeah, that's a Marty question.
Hello, everyone. I wasn't allowed on. My wife said we have to watch a movie, so the movie's over. Now I'm here to beat up Michael a little bit. I'm just kidding. No, listen, with domain names, keep in mind, the domain name is not for you. You want to pick something that you think people will click on, and you want to keep it short. You want to keep it, now look, .com is the most popular domain in the planet, without a doubt, .com. But if I was selling digital stuff, I might do AI. Now, is it real popular yet? No, it's not yet, but it might be. But if you were doing, let's say you were selling the product separately and you wanted to do OConnect, maybe you would do easyview.com. something really short, boom, boom, boom. Now you're not going to get easyview.com, by the way. It's probably $50,000 domain. But what you do is you start thinking about short names, real short, something easy to remember. I know some people have these big, long domains. Freddie and Marty's blah, 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 blah. And you're like, nobody's going to remember that. Want to keep it really simple. As far as onpassive.com, link 49, that's very good to share to people. I wouldn't market with it. I would not market with onpassive.com because it's a broad, I would never do it with a corporate site anyway. You want to go to OConnect and make your own site, brand you, get a video in there with you on it, or learn to do even if you did an intro into a video that's already there. Hey, this is Bob Takusi. I'm blah, 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 blah. I'd like to introduce you to whoever's doing the video, and 3 or 4 minutes long, boom. And remember, real short in the beginning, next video can be a little longer, next one can be even longer, because people's attention span is zero. It's a very fast-paced world now. People want now. They don't want to hear a big story. And remember, never fall in love with anything you're doing. If it doesn't work, move on to something else. But if you have 5 accounts, that's 5 different companies. Okay, keep that in mind. I would use a domain for each one. You don't have to, but I would look at domains and try to get something. Think about what brand you want. Think long term. Don't think 2 weeks. You're going to keep it for a while. And the longer you have it, the more popular it'll get, because branding doesn't happen in a day. It takes time to brand. Yes, the company's going to take your link and they're going to send customers there. No doubt about it. But like all of us here, if you live in the United States, you buy Amazon, you have paid and bought things from an affiliate in Amazon. You just didn't know it because his name's not there, right? He doesn't. The difference is Ash doesn't want Amazon. Ash wants bobtakusi.com. I'm not even sure I'd use a name, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He wants he wants us all to build our own brand.
Yes.
Right. And the other neat thing about, you guys are bringing up OChat. Now keep in mind, OChat, I got a question to ask right now because I want to make sure of something. But OChat, I used to use a thing called ManyChat, made by tech people, okay? And what it did was, if I did an ad and they left a comment, now people only leave comments because they don't want to push the button. They think they're going to go to some kind of, they're going to get spammed or whatever. But there's an app out there you can get that actually, if somebody leaves a comment in your ad, it will answer the comment. Now, the difference is I had to put in every comment I could think. In other words, if I said, I want info, I'd send something. I would like to know more about this. Do you have a video? Stuff like that. So I had different areas they could go to get them what they want. That's what the difference is. AI, it's learning, it's machine learning. So it's going, okay, I don't know the answer this time, but it'll know it next time. Right? And when it runs out of the answer, it sends it to a human. What I wanted to know from Ash, I believe you guys might know more than I do, but I've been looking at it. I believe OChat will be customized so you can put it in whatever business you're doing if you're a founder. If not, it's only internal for Onpassive. I don't see the benefit of that except for us, but most of the stuff we'll know anyway. Maybe it is just for items in Onpassive, but I was wondering, can it be programmed to go in any business? I don't know.
Yes, I would say yes. I believe OChat, as it stands, is a product.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Other companies are going to use this product and implement it in their systems.
Okay, if that's the case, which I think you're right. I don't like to say anything 100%. That's mind blowing.
Yeah,
that's a big deal, because that that's big, because this lady's working for you for free.
Yes,
even though it's AI, but it'll learn as it goes.
Yes,
and you'll have a very smart support system that knows all about your business as well as you do eventually, maybe even more. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm trying to catch up with all I lost. I think I'm done now, but anyway.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, but it's a product. It's our one.
I think so. I believe
Right,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
I stand to be corrected, but I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All righty. Thanks, Marty. Miss Sandra. Miss Sandra Fletcher, come on down. You got on mute, Sandra. There you go.
You have to do it.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, Uncle Bob, you speak with so much passion. Like my head is just exploding. Yeah. Thanks so much for all that information.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
The truth is that when you understand, like Mackett Williams says all the time, if you really understand Onpassive, you can't sleep. As a matter of fact, it's very hard for me to concentrate on work because I'll give you an example right now. We have, for our video conference, we use Cisco WebEx and we use Microsoft Teams. And we did something called a business process. We're going to acquire a product. So we're doing, analysis, trying to figure out, which one we would choose. So my boss and I were having a meeting. So I'm looking at the features of this product, the one that we had decided to choose. She's looking at it on her side. We are on a WebEx call. I'm seeing something else, she's seeing something else. But she has to disconnect so that I can connect to share my screen with her. And when I showed her my screen, then she came back and she showed me her screen. The whole entire time in that session, I was just thinking, oh, connect. We have dual screen sharing. So I'll be seeing her screen and she's seeing mine simultaneously. Would have saved maybe about 15, 20 minutes in that session. They are now trying to, Cisco is now trying to implement auto translator. And it's not even the auto translator that we know. It's a third party is actually doing the translation for them. I did the risk assessment for that. So Onpassive is in a different, like Mr. Ashes, we are like maybe 500 miles ahead. So when you understand all these things and then you are in the industry, you are seeing the products, your head can explode. Staff is like Mr. Mufareh has put together about 6 different companies with staff. 6. And then he has also implemented physical security in staff with the CCTV and the image, physical security. It is just mind-blowing. So when you understand and you look at the magnitude of the whole thing, it's like crazy. Your head can just. So when I speak with passion because when I came in for the first time, when I joined Onpassive and I listened to this opportunity, I saw Mr. Mufareh's vision. Number one, I knew that it was unique. There's nothing like Onpassive out there, nothing. Number two, technically it's possible, it can be done. The technology is possible, it can be done. And then how much does it cost us? What does it take? For $97 to get what we get? So you just can't sleep. You have to share and share and share and share and share and share until, just keep sharing for people. This man has opened his heart and mind and soul to the world, to all of us. And the only thing that in my mind I know is to make him proud, is to do what he wants us to do, to help other people, people that have nothing to do with you, with me, to help them. uplift humanity, because I believe that Mr. Ash Mufareh's personal legend, that's who he is inside at his core. Want to uplift mankind, and that's what we're going to do. So, my dear Onpassivians, like all our leadership council members always tell us, this is a very, very, very heavy lift. I'll give you an example, and Auntie Lynn, just feel free to cut me in anytime. There's a cable company in Pennsylvania called Adelphi Communications. We build that system. We build that system. It's like, you know, when you call Comcast or any of this company to order cable. So we build the system, the order entry system. Two systems, just the inventory database and the order entry system. It took us 3 years. Ash Mufareh is delivering this in about that same time. That's why I sit quiet, because I know in my mind he's already over-delivering. I don't have no questions for him, because the man, he knows what he's doing. And we see proof by the rate at which these people, our technicians are working. They're working around the clock. That's why we're here, where we are at this juncture. In my estimation, this project takes 5 to 8 years. I kid you not. But there's one thing that I know, the hand of God is hovering over Onpassive and Ash Mufareh and all of us.
Right, Bob.
Yes, there is something special here, guys. Something special. There's something uniquely special here. And Ash Mufareh is making sure that all the chips, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. And I even believe that when everything is said and done and it's ready, he just needs to turn on the switch, to turn it on, to start the engine. Mr. Ash is going to take maybe like a couple of weeks off to absorb it. He's not going to rush. He's not going to rush. No. He's going to take a couple of weeks off, a week or two, exhale, breathe out, and then turn it on. Because the world changes. When Onpassive launches, the world changes. The world changes for good. Yes. I yield my time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was a very educational, informational presentation. We appreciate that, all that you guys do, and we appreciate the speakers tonight. We have one hand up. We have two hands up now, but Tim Dillon, go ahead. A couple minutes now. Tim Dillon, are you there?
Yes, Tim.
Yes, I'm here.
A couple minutes. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Now, wonderful webinar, but I'm not sure I understand the concern about our domain names. Mr. Mufareh is building a massive corporation. And why can't we trust him with the selection of our domain name? Will he not have people who are going to do informational searches about us to make that decision as to the recommendations? Maybe Marty can answer that. I don't know. But I think we have trusted for so long in what we're doing. Why not keep the trust?
Yeah, Tim, there's going to be marketing like never before. I just want we all need to know that everyone that has the internet or has a television or I think there's still radios out there, will know about Onpassive. When that day happens, Google's going to make a lot of millionaires in Onpassive. I'm going to tell you why. First thing people do, you do it too. Something comes out, you see it on the news, you see it on a billboard, Onpassive. They're going to punch in Google, what is Onpassive? Lights out, everybody. When that starts, lights out, because that's when you start to get the rush of people coming in. And keep in mind, the foundation is there. As soon as they punch it in, they're going to go to YouTube, thousands of videos. They're going to go to the Onpassive blog, thousands of blogs. They're going to go anywhere they go. They're going to go to Twitter. There's stuff there about Onpassive. They're going to go to TikTok. There's stuff there about Onpassive. Anywhere, any media, any avenue of news is going to have Onpassive. The foundation's built now. The fertilizer's on the ground. The grass is seeded, and then the rain's coming. When it launches, everybody in the planet will know very, very quickly. You will see a surge like nobody's ever seen before. My personal opinion, I believe believes the same thing, because he did it right in the beginning. Everybody's saying, well, push it. You got to do this. And why don't you do that? And why don't you do this? Thank God he doesn't listen to anybody. Okay. Because you got to do it strategically so that when the thing happens, yes, everybody thinks we have nothing against Google. Google does a great job. The point is, when we get 1 billion people on Onpassive one day, we become the hunted. People will be in Onpassive to sell things, to find out about things. They will come to us about any business you could think in the planet. Why? Because every business on the planet will be in Onpassive. Anyone that matters. They'll be in there in some form, some way, guaranteed. You don't see Facebook advertising. Why? Because they're the hunted. They won't be soon. They lost $39 billion in one day. But anyway, that's what the foundation is. The part now that everybody thinks,
Marty,
what's going on or what didn't happen, this is a big deal right now. When you think it's calm, this is when things are being developed to when it happens, when it's rolled out, every breathing soul will know about Onpassive.
Yes, Marty, I agree 100%. Now, when they choose a domain name for you, don't you believe that they will have investigated or researched you to choose that name?
No. They're not going to choose a domain for you. Okay. When they go to market for us, I would not be surprised. They have what they call rotators. Okay. Lynn's name will be on it. I mean, her link, my registration link, everybody, all 1,100,000 links will be on maybe many rotators. I don't want to say one because that's too small, but there'll be many rotators. And every time somebody clicks on it, somebody's new name comes up. Okay. Whatever name they're using. Okay. It may, at that point may not be our domain. Our domain
I understand that.
Our domain is when you are marketing for yourself or a company that you have in Onpassive. The company running is not going to push every domain. Now it might, but I'm thinking more of they're going to throw marketing out and they're going to try hundreds of different web pages at a time. But 50,000 of us will be on that web page. Another 100,000 will be on another. And because of AI, it will narrow it down to the best web page, the best country, the best time of day, man, woman, what age group, who likes what, who can do what, and then AI kicks in and follows up with people constantly. Boom, 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 boom.
Exactly. So, I agree. That's why I question why we are questioning about the domain name.
Hey, Marty,
you have a domain name,
Tim,
it's going to work.
Tim, Marty, let me say something. You just blew his mind, Marty. You just blew everybody's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim, you're absolutely right. You do not have to do anything. Onpassive will give you a list of names that they will pick for you, and you can pick one of them. It's as simple as that. It's not hard. So if we're just talking about the domain name, you don't have to be technical. Like Chris said, you don't have to know anything. They will pull up domain names for you, and you can pick one of them. It's as simple as that, Tim. Now, other people will want to do it a different way, as Bob has talked about and as Mike has talked about. But for you, if you want to go in, they'll give you a list of domain names. You pick one, you're done. That's it. You're done.
I like that. I like that.
I know a lot of people do. You're not alone.
You guys do a great job. Thank you so much.
All righty. Thanks, Tim. Mike Ellis, I'm glad you raised your hand. Marty, did you have anything else to say? I'm sorry. I'm glad
Marty
you raised
just
your
blew
hand.
everybody's mind.
I'm glad you raised your hand because I was going to call on you and ask. I didn't see any other hands up, and maybe you can give us little words of wisdom.
No, I think Bob and Mike, they blew it out of the park tonight. I mean, if you understand what they're talking about, you're starting to understand the magnitude of Onpassive. And they just touched the surface, guys. You know, when they talk about OTracker, and the domain name, it's just a piece. It's a little tiny piece, but it is so massive. We could go out with just these products and every one of us would get to that place where we don't worry about money. That's how big Onpassive is with these 3 products. Now you start adding all the other ones, it'll blow you away. I talk to tech guys every week, okay, that are in Onpassive. And when I listen to them, I just listen because when they get done with me, I can't talk for a week. They know what they're talking about. And they hit it out of the park, guys. You did a great job.
Thank you, Mike. They did an awesome job. So what I'm going to do now, we don't have any more hands up, so I'm going to turn it over to Miss Lynn and let you do your thing.
Righty. I think we can wrap it up. I think we got all the questions answered. Everybody who raised their hands got to speak, and our speakers got to present what they wanted to present. So I think we're ready to wrap up. I wanted to thank I want to acknowledge our speakers. I think they were excellent. I hope that you folks in the attendees are benefiting from what they had to share. I personally gained a lot myself, so I was really happy with the information. Lots of new information for me personally. So I want to thank them, first of all. So that's Engineer Mike Ojantambia from Canada, Oliver Fonte from the United States, and Bob Takusi, United States. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. I think they did a really good job in bringing it home and explaining these complex concepts to us simply. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. I also would like to now acknowledge the people that make this webinar what it is. First of all, Marty DeGarmo. You know, he's the one that he has to give up every Friday, no matter what. He is there to start our webinar and to live stream it. And that is a major sacrifice, I feel. So thank you so much. And even though he wasn't supposed to talk, he came back to the webinar tonight to speak because he had some passionate comments he wanted to share with us. I really appreciate Marty so much. I also want to thank Bruce Gerstein, who helps me, and Ron to bring people to the panel. Appreciate him so much. Thank you, Bill Must, who is providing he's creating promotional graphics for us. You see the beautiful Zoom background that we're enjoying tonight. Isn't it pretty? I really like the colors. I love it. So thank you to Bill. And he also does the graphics that advertise this webinar. Also, thank you to Chris Johnson. He's very, very consistent in posting our webinar in the back office and promoting it on his YouTube live. So appreciate him for that. Julie, who's always there for us. Sometimes she's not able to be actively speaking, but today, wow, she had a lot to share with us. Thank you, Julie. We love you a lot. Thank you to my co-host, Ron. Without him, I wouldn't be doing this by myself. I need Ron. He's awesome. Thank you to Mike Ellis, a Leadership Council member, for attending and speaking today. Thank you, Cindy Hopkins. Nice to see you, and she shared as well. And Niraj Dalvi, and these are all Leadership Council members. And most of all, who am I going to thank is you, the attendees of Friday Night Live, because without you, we wouldn't have Friday Night Live. So we love you to pieces, and we hope to see you every week, Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, right, Ron?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
But I think Mr. DeGarmo has something else he wants to say.
Oh, he does. Please speak.
Real quick, I just want a raise of hands, real hands. If people learned something tonight and they're starting to understand what Onpassive is about, fantastic. Now, keep in mind, I don't want to hurt your feelings. We still don't know 1/10. Good night, everybody.
That was good.
That's a good one, Marty. That's true. We will always have to learn. It's all about what we call lifelong learning. So that's awesome. So again, thank you for attending. We went a bit over time, but hey, our numbers were really good today. People were interested. They stayed practically the whole time. So I am really, really delighted. You can tell by the numbers if people drop out, that means it's a boring webinar, but they stayed. So I think that we provided some value to them. So thank you again to everybody. So what we're going to do right now is allow you to unmute and say bye-bye to each other. Thank you so much for running.
Everybody.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everybody.
We love you so much.
Bye.
Bye,
Everybody. Thank you, Marty, Mike, everybody.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Night, everybody. Nice weekend.
Nice weekend too.
What happened?
Awful
So
quiet
quiet.
Goodbye.
Maybe
That's
I
an
did
awful quiet
Allah.
goodbye, folks.
Let's see. I think is there a button for unmuting? Yeah, there we go. Ask all to unmute.
Now we got it. Good night.
Hey. Take care, everybody.